Good morning, good afternoon, good day, and good evening. I don't know what time of day it is for you, but for me, it's the good time of day. We are back at it again today, and as I stated in the intro there, this is the day when we're just going to be talking about whatever. This is not a day where we're going to actually have any substantive value to this, and there's a reason why, and I guess I'll get into that. But I also want to let you know I dropped the link. So anybody who does want to come up, y'all just want to talk about whatever's on your mind, let's talk about that. Whatever's on your mind today, we're going to talk about whatever's on your mind. I was looking at my analytics the other day, and as I was looking at it, the thing that was really interesting to me because it's like I've been sitting here trying, and everybody keeps saying, "Don't do it that way. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it." And I keep on butting my head, and I'm gonna continue butting my head. I'm gonna be honest with you. Today is just a day that I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna butt my head today. What I am gonna do is get ready for the interview tomorrow. Tomorrow on tomorrow's show, we have Ling Ling. She is an entrepreneur here in Houston. She does brows. So if you like to have the microblading and all that stuff done to your brows, ladies, Ling Ling's gonna be here tomorrow. Uh, I'll be putting the ad out tomorrow. As it's tonight, we were able to finalize everything today, so she will be here tomorrow. And Ling Ling for you. That's what we're gonna have tomorrow. She is a black, young black lady who is a young black woman, like young black lady, like we're talking lords and ladies or something like that right now. But she is a young black woman who is an entrepreneur, and she. Oh my goodness! Give me 1 minute. I apologize. I don't know if you guys heard that beeping. I heard that beeping, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" So anyway, we have Ling Ling. She'll be on the show tomorrow with us as we are going to take that trip again tomorrow with another black entrepreneur. And I'm going to encourage everybody, ask everybody, beg everybody, please show up tomorrow. Give us a hand with Ling Ling. Uh, I say she's going to be here. She'll be answering any and all questions. And yeah, I say she's a model, she's an actress, and she does a lot in those spaces as well as the microblading. So with that being said, today I just want to sit down and I want to talk about whatever it is that you guys want to talk about. There's a lot of things that I could talk about, a lot of things that I have that's on my mind, but let's get in here and let's talk about it. Uh, I did not hear the beeping. Thank you very much because I heard it and I was like, oh my goodness. I thought that I was going to sit there and have a bad time tonight, but we are good. We are back at it. Uh, and again, as I'm looking at it, I was like, okay, well, looking at what performs well on my channel was very discouraging for me. An extremely discouraging moment. I like to be pro-black, not anti-white, but definitely pro-black. And when I look at a lot of the things that are going on in our world today, everybody just goes, "Well, just give up on black people," and I can't. I just can't. Today is one of those days where I'm discouraged by it a little bit, but at the same time, I'm not giving up. I am not going to give up on us. I will not, cannot. I'm not built for that. Right. So I will not be giving up on black people or talking about issues that affect black people, either now or in the future. And again, the link is dropped. If anyone does want to pop in here and hop on up for us, then most definitely you can definitely do that. Uh, what I'm referring to is I looked at the list of videos, and it's not even close on what the highest performing video that I have, and it deals with the situation that's going on with Cain Velasquez. And I was gonna drop another video today, and I'll be honest with you, I was in the middle of editing earlier today and prepping for this, and I corrupted the files. I think I can save it. I'm not sure if I can, but even if I can't, there will be another one going up today. I know I said that yesterday, but it will be going up today. If I have to re-record it and get it up before midnight tonight, there will be another video up in regards to the Cain Velasquez situation because there are some things in that case that I think that people are kind of missing. And I wanted to say, and taking a look at that case, they had a Microsoft Teams meeting on the day of, and it's how how the court does it. And I'll have all the links and everything in that video when I drop it. So I've already had all that stuff done, and then I screwed up on my editing in Premiere Pro. And long story short is I have one of those videos is a video that I need to sit there and see if I can either tweak or I'm going to re-record the entire thing and have that up tonight by midnight at least. And I say, so there will be a follow-up for the Cain Velasquez video. And if at the very least you'll get one or two, and then more than likely the next one will come out sometime around April 14th or 13th is the next date that they have that's scheduled for trial. And that's the next date that I'm pretty sure that everybody's going to be huddled around a monitor and logged in and looking at this stuff at the courthouse like we were the other day. So there will be another video coming out in regards to Cain for that situation there. And let me back up a little bit. I'm gonna drop back and I'm gonna talk again a little bit about why it is that it was discouraging. So we have a lot of things in our society right now that are going on in regards to Black people, and it seems that if everybody else can blow over it, and then we are complicit in doing the same thing with them, and that's where I fundamentally have that issue is in being somebody who's extremely pro-Black, not anti-white, but definitely pro-Black and loving Black people. I know some people, everybody, we start to bicker over the smallest things. I don't want to be called Black. I don't want to be called African American. I'm not really upset about what it is that we're calling each other. I think that is the least of the issues that we're having as a community. You look at things as far as unity, and this is something where we're observing it the world over, right? We're observing what's going on in the Ukraine. And one of the things that was pointed out the other day, and Don Lamont, what is his name? I don't always have the highest viewpoint of him. He's in one of these legacy media type roles. So for me, I look at some of the things he was talking about, and Mark Lamont Hill. And he pointed out, but he did point out something that was very astute and very interesting. In one of the videos I had a while back, we talked about how hypocrisy is the original sin. The slavery is a symptom of it. The taking of the land from the natives that were here, that's a symptom of it. That colonial mindset, that imperialist mindset, those are symptoms of the greater issue of hypocrisy, right? So when you're getting down into it and you're looking at it and you're getting in the weeds, it's interesting that when Russia decides they want to annex Crimea, everybody's up in arms, and we're talking about the bombs being dropped there. We're talking about the things that are going on there. We're ignoring what they're doing to the people of color, to the Black people there, the Africans that are there, right? And granted, yes, I know that they're not Black people here in America, but yet still we ignore those type of things, right? So and it's one of those things that you look at it and you go like, okay, that must not be important to anybody. And then and at the same time that's going on, in the very same week, one of the things that Mark Lamont Hill, he pointed out was, and that exact same week, we're talking about the Ukraine. We're talking about what's going on with not the annexation of Crimea. I apologize for stating that was previous, but everybody gets up in arms about Ukraine and Russia going into Ukraine, but nobody's talking about what's going on with Saudi and the Yemenis. Nobody's talking about other places where brown people in the exact same week or what's going on in Israel or any of those other things where it's Israel and the Palestinians. Nobody's talking about those bombs. Nobody's concerned about those things. That's business as usual. That's okay. That's those guys that are suffering. We don't really care about them, but we do care about these white folks over here in the Ukraine. And I'm not saying that, hey, white people need to die. That is not what I'm saying at all. Nor am I sitting there going that, oh, as a white lives don't matter, right? This is one of those yes, this is one of those where the media is telling you white lives matter without saying white lives matter. They don't need to scream out loud, white lives matter. Why? Because everybody's paying attention to it. It's what they're going to highlight. It's what they're going to spotlight for us. They're going to spotlight white lives. And I think it's very telling that when you do that, you get the world to support you. You get everybody behind you, and that narrative, it sticks. Right now, on the narrative that's sticking that I was talking about the other day, and this is me, I'm going to be bouncing all over the place tonight. So if you guys don't have anything for me, y'all going to, as a tonight's show is going to be a car wreck. Oh, did I blow your ears out with that? I apologize. I was like, oh my goodness. So but tonight's show is going to be a car wreck. It will be a train wreck of a show. I'm letting you know up front and ahead of time. If you just want to sit there and you want to watch the carnage, tonight is the night where you can watch the carnage.
The carnage is going to be real tonight. You're gonna be able to watch me just fall flat on my face.
But with that being said, in all seriousness, though, has said we look at all these different things that are going on in the world. We look at how everybody is focused on a lot of these issues. If the issues pertain to, revolve around, or deal with white people and white people suffering, those are things that we need to actually not only pay attention to, but get involved in. However, at the same time, if you get a situation where it's black people suffering for something like, I don't know, a while back, what was this, almost a decade now, where you had the young ladies that were kidnapped up there in Nigeria, in the northern part of Nigeria, by Boko Haram. And everybody goes like, save our girls. Those girls never got saved. They had a few of them that escaped on their own later that came back, but those girls never got saved. So it was a good headline, good thing to talk about for a hot minute. Everybody's like,
save our girls, save our girls,
and nobody actually did it. Right. So there's a lot of time, there's a lot of talk, not a lot of action. A lot of talk and not a lot of action. And that's where I get to, I don't know, I shouldn't laugh about it, but it's kind of comical to me that we talk about these things, but we don't actually act on them. And I started, I guess, let me tell you what I'm doing. So I got a new intro that I'm working on. And the new intro that I'm working on has to do with the name of the podcast being the What You're Gonna Do About This podcast. And when I was a little kid, one of the things that used to happen, because we were stupid and dumb as kids are, one of the things that would happen is you would get into an altercation with somebody and you would jump up, and it's like two young boys they playing, and this is going to be in my intro. But so yeah, free idea for somebody. I want to take my intro stuff, but that's all right. It's an idea. I have a million of them in any of it. So so the thing that was in my head when watching this was that the kids would sit there, it was like this escalation. They would talk noise, jump up, start bumping shoulders, and when they start bumping their shoulders against each other, the phrase that almost invariably came out is, "What you gonna do about it?" So what you gonna do about it then? Then what you gonna do about it? And that's where I'm at with us as a people today. What are we gonna do about it? We recognize that there's a lot of issues, right? There's a ton of issues. There's a ton of systemic issues that were within our society, within our culture, within us, and we talk about it, but we don't take action. So if your only thing you're going to do is talk about it, nothing's going to happen, right? You might say it determines how you feel, right? Slavery days are over, right? Those days of sitting up there thinking about it and going like, "Oh, I can't do anything, master." Those days are over, right? We actually have a level of agency to ourselves, and we just refuse. And when I say agency, I mean the ability to act on to act for ourselves, right? We are autonomous individuals, and we have gone this extreme route of not wanting to do anything besides deal with our own selves. Let me see, what do we have here? Why? Whoa, you stick around. Trust me, Miss Taylor, you are going to see the why, because this is going to be, again, a train wreck of a night. What's going on, Miss Kurtz? And you know what? I just realized I did not acknowledge the very first point. You should have, instead of saying, "Hey, well, you know what you should have tossed in there at the Eat the Wolf," you should have tossed in there first, because you were first on the block. So when you come in here first, make sure if you're the first comment up, claim it first, and we're going to continue going from there. But in any event, there's a lot of times when we do things, we talk about these different aspects of life, and we talk about all the different inequities, all the different problems that we have within the community, and nobody does anything. We talk, and then we don't take action. What do I mean by taking action? Taking action by supporting one another. So I have this channel. I'm sitting up here, I'm talking about black issues, black people and black issues, and trying to see if we can come together to see if we can have some unity, and not just some unity and talk, but trying to see if we can let's engage the dialogue. Let's see what we can do, and then let's do that. And instead of having any kind of actual discourse with it, or any kind of interaction, a lot of times I get the people in the comments that come up, but it's very far and few in between. I did one video, and that video got over 1,000 views, and it's still climbing. And it's interesting that the only thing I did was talked about a case. That was it. Just talked about a case, and everybody's interested in the case. Now, what are they going to do about it? Everybody's up in arms about it. Everybody's upset about what's going on with Cain Velasquez, and deservedly so. If I'm being perfectly honest, I also am a little upset about it. I also recognize that the strategies and everything that are being deployed from a legal standpoint, that other people probably are not looking at just because they're emotional in it. As a father who has someone who has touched their child in that way, or as they say, a close relative, according to the statement of facts. But everybody's as a missing that the court is working in a different way. The court works on, we have two cases. One was the case that Cain tried to take in his own hands, and he was going to go take care of it since they didn't do it the way he thought it should have been done. The other is a case against Cain. And in a situation like this, let me see. Let me turn off these alerts so that you guys aren't hearing Duluth or in the and what's going on. But the issue with Cain is that everybody's ignoring the fact that he actually did attempt murder. It was it was a zero-sum game in what he was playing. Let's see, what do we have? Is because you took the time to explain that case that made the difference. You might be right. You might be right. But but the case I took the time to explain. At the same time, I take the time a lot of times on this channel to explain some of the issues, like what Mark Lamont Hill was talking about, or if it's an issue about the assault on the Black community, and to show the stats and the figures and whatnot. Because I do the homework on every single time out. I do the homework on it, and every single time out, you'll see me bring up stats. You'll see me bring up figures. You'll see me bring up. I say, here's what the sources are, and I'll do the exact same thing that I did within that case. And for whatever reason, those stats, those figures, aren't engaging for people, right? Doing the homework and explaining where, the issues within the community, the issues within the Black family, not something that people say, because it flies in the face of what we want. I think this is personal. I don't know if it is or it isn't, but that's what it kind of seems like. And I could be wrong. It might be something like, it might be exactly what you're saying. I explained that case, and when I go back and I look at my other streams where I sat down, I took the time, I've gone to census.gov, blackdemographics.org, the NIH website.gov, and all these different sources. And I've done I sit down and literally I'll take an entire few days out and I'll do research on the subject. And then I'll make sure I have all of the links so I can sit there and all of the information. That way, at the end of it, I can talk about it and drop that information right there for you. And it seems, and I could be wrong, but it seems like, let's see, the case was foggy. Your explanation made sense. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I strive for clarity, and I strive for brevity and clarity. Unfortunately, the former I'm able to do, the latter, not so much. The latter I struggle with. So thank you very much for that, Ms. Taylor. So one of the other things, I try to make sure that I give information in a way that and give everybody an opportunity. Let's talk about it. Maybe, so I'm not sitting up here in a vacuum, and I'm not sitting up here in a echo chamber, and I'm not sitting here just citing things. Here's where the information's at. Let's talk about these issues that are facing the community. Let's see if we can do something. What are some of the action items that we can take? I know things that I think might be good action items, but it seems to be that when it comes to supporting one another, that support, and this is, I guess this is a fundamental issue that I have. This is not a you guys issue. This is a me issue, and this is where my train wreck of the night is coming from. Is the fact that I many times get to looking at these things, and I start thinking about the fact that I'm not asking for money, right? What are some of the things that we can do, right? Is what I'm looking for. So if I'm not asking for money, and everybody's like, oh, I'm always concerned with support, and support being money, that you're going to ask me for some money, I'm not in there like the church. Right. I'm not sitting up there passing around a collection plate, or I'm going to stop the stream until we get my likes up, or any of those things. I'm going to sit down and I just want to sit. Let's have this talk. Let's see if we can engage, and let's see if we can engage as a community. If there's a question that's out there, then by all means, hop on in there. If you think I'm wrong on something, by all means, hop on in here. All of those are things that whenever I start to take it into account, that we don't engage with each other on those levels, or when we do, it's just talk, and then we don't do anything. Excuse me. I apologize for that. But what I would like to get to at some point along the line is an area or a space for Black people where we can actually start engaging with one another, where we can talk to one another and not just talk to one another, but take actions within our community in order to make it stronger. Because everybody else seems to know how to take advantage of our community besides us. And I don't mean take advantage as a because they do it in a negative way, but what I mean is to be able to leverage what it is that we have as a community. And I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes it gets frustrating. That's why I say it's just all as a whatever it is you guys want to talk about, hop on in and we can talk about those things because I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, so we have issues and we recognize there's issues within the community. We recognize, or we should recognize, that those issues aren't going to get resolved by doing nothing. But it seems like we have a whitewashed sense of our history, so the only thing we come down to is just marching, as opposed to doing the actual work that our ancestors did. And when I say ancestors, I mean those who are passed now, like such as MLK and Malcolm X or Kwame Ture or I'm sorry, Stokely Carmichael, that's what he was known as. But it's a situation where we have all of these different aspects to our culture, to our society, and the things that we gravitate towards, the things that we hang on to, the things that we say, this is our culture, and that we lean to more than anything else are the negative aspects that are degrading us. And I don't know because it feels good, because it's fun. It's all dessert, no meal. All dessert, no veggies, or all sweets, no veggies. It's I don't know. I don't know at this point. What I do know when I think about it, like I said, there are a lot of things out there. And we can point to them. We can say that's racist, and then that's it. We can say that's unfair, that's unjust, and then that's it. And what I'm trying to do, and what I like to talk about, and when I get in here talking, is to tell you how the system works. Why? Because there's one thing on thinking that, hey, we can just talk about it and then have no idea of what those levers are that need to be pulled in order to make some kind of a change, some kind of effect. The primary one is making sure that our communities and our families are strong again, that Black men and Black women are working together again, as opposed to having this adversarial thing that we have. And the sad fact of the matter is, right, if you really want to, same thing that I can do with that Kane video. There's certain things, and I did that. I was talking to a friend of mine, and he told me, and when you listen to me, I say it in the beginning. I said, initially I was going to wait till the weekend in order to do it. But and he and I, we were talking about it. It was, if you wait till the weekend, you're going to miss it. I'm like, I know. I say everybody wants it now, as opposed to waiting for all the information to come in. And then the only thing I'm going to be able to do is to read the statement of facts and then explain what the statement of facts is and why Kane is in an issue, is in the pickle that he's in right now. And he's like, yeah, just do it. And I was like, all right, cool, bet. So I did it. And all of a sudden, it's like, that's what drives the algorithm. And there's other subjects that I look at online. I'm like, I could talk about that. I could talk about that tonight. I could put that on right now. And I know I'll get thousands of views, and it does nothing to advance our people. And here's the real kicker. Here's the real kicker. If I do those things, here's what YouTube is going to do for me. YouTube is going to advance that algorithm. They're going to allow me to sit there and make a lot of money off of that. And then all of the stuff that I do when I talk about Black people or talking about Black people, that gets pushed down in the algorithm because nobody supports it. Nobody supports it. Nobody wants to sit there and talk about Black issues and Black lives or Black anything unless it's in a confrontational matter, right? So if it's not confrontational, if it's not something that's going to allow somebody to talk about, if it's not this emotional heartstring pulling thing, then it doesn't get views. And I don't want to be relegated to just talking to our people in that fashion where it's like, I know I hate saying like this, but I feel like a preacher, right? Preachers in the community know how to pull at your heartstrings. And it's not, I hate saying like this, but it's not a hard thing to do. It's really, really not that hard. It's not that hard to do. You find those things, you find those issues, you find those hot button topics that people have, and you talk to them about it, and you watch the emotional aspects of them go. There's an old adage that says that in real estate, the three most important things are location, location, location. right? So those are your three most important things in real estate. In advertising, the three most important things are test, test, and test. What does that mean? That means basically you're going to sit there, you're going to put something out, you're going to test to see whether or not it comes back, what what the results were, if it was beneficial or not, and you do that back and forth. Right now, they're doing that in the case. A lot of attorneys, I'm not going to say a lot of attorneys in general do this, right? You test and you want to see what works. Politicians do it all the time. The previous administration, the head of the previous administration, one of the things he would do a lot, and you probably don't realize it, but each one of them does it. But he was a master at it. I know everybody they want to just say he's dumb or stupid, but this dude was a master at it. He was a master at it. The guy that was out there who did not have sex with that woman, he was also another one who was a master at it. These were people that were when I think about the past administrations, those are two that were masters at being able to use a test. They would test out a slogan or a saying at a smaller event. And then from the smaller event, you would see them go to the next event. And if it took hold and if it was good and they got a lot of good feedback at that event, they would try it at another smaller event, see if it's still in a different location. Is this messaging still good? And then they'll go to the next one. And if they had 2 or 3 times when it went really good and it caught on like gangbusters, they started using those expressions, those sayings all the time. See, "Make America Great Again" was not something that just came off the top of his dome when he was out there. He tested it out on several different occasions at smaller events with smaller donors before he actually dropped that catchphrase, that slogan that caught fire. When he started talking about other issues, and I'm being careful at this point when I say these things, because I talked about it yesterday. There's the MDM, the misinformation, disinformation, malinformation, and the way on how the CISA classifies it as far as how they define it. And then also in addition to that, now DHS has a category for it. When you do that you can be classified as a terrorist. So now you need to really be doubly careful. Why? Because now literally your First Amendment freedoms are under attack, and your ability to sit down and to actually have any kind of freedom of speech, freedom of thought, freedom in anything that we're doing is all under attack at this point. And everybody just like, okay, they're so sleep at the wheel. I mean, just like don't care. Oh, just did I get anything good out of it? Did I? You gave me something good. Oh, well, by God, Willikers, you just sit there. You continue to take everything from me. I'm okay with that, right? And everybody's just asleep at the wheel at this point. And it's just give me as I just want to do, and it's this whole thing of watching it, and it's I don't know, it's painful. It might not be painful for you guys, but watching it is painful for me. And I guess kind of like you guys watching me right now. It's probably painful. On why it is, what's this dude talking about? Why is he even talking about these things? It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. I think it does matter in the grand scheme of things. I guess that's my problem. I think it matters. I think that what would have happened during that time frame right after slavery, if our ancestors they said it just doesn't matter, right? Whatever comes, whatever, and they didn't push for anything. If you did, everybody rails on Booker T and we rail on W.E.B. Du Bois or Dubois, or however you want to pronounce that. We rail on Marcus Garvey. We rail on these individuals and we talk about what their flaws were. But one of the things that they did not do was they didn't quit and they didn't give up. And they made sure that they kept on. They knew that it was an uphill battle, whether it was Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad, King, Stokely Carmichael, Huey P. Newton, Bobby Seale, right? You had all of these, Geronimo Pratt, you had all of these individuals that were very instrumental in moving us forward, and they didn't quit. They didn't quit in spite of all the issues that they were facing. And because of it, we got benefits today that we didn't have back then. And white people like to always tell you that, oh, you only got those because we gave them to you. Right? You got them because you knew there was something else on the line if we didn't get them. In any event, this is where we're at right now. And I like, again, I'm not gonna keep you guys too long tonight. Tonight might be has a less than an hour show, so you guys will be happy about that. As I don't have to listen to my mouth on that, but at the same time, I'm gonna push and I'm gonna say, hey, tomorrow, in supporting Black business, Ling Ling's coming on. She's another Black business owner. So far we've had three Black business owners on. I have 2 or 3 more that are coming up. There's two others that are coming up in the upcoming weeks, and I have another few people that are coming on as well. And I would love to see the same level of support for them as I'm able to get for talking about a law case like a Cain Velasquez at this point. So that being said, I would love to see if we can get that support level up for our Black brothers and sisters as they come on, and to see if we can support them in the same way by spreading a message, letting everybody know, hey, just has a like, a comment, subscribe, and a watch, right? If you don't have to watch at the time of the video, you can sit there. As a matter of fact, one of the things I'm gonna start doing here in the upcoming days, because there's a couple different things I mentioned yesterday that I'm going to be diversifying. So I will not just be on YouTube. I will be on Odyssey and YouTube, because with the MDM that's coming out and everything else that's going on with the terrorists, and I'd say the terrorist classifications, and to say if they don't like the way on how I cover or talk about Black people or Africans being discriminated against in the Ukraine, and everybody, and that could be disruptive to national cohesion, and then I could be labeled a terrorist or deplatformed from YouTube just for saying something along those lines. I want to have someplace else that I can talk to you guys, even if it's not something where it's as lucrative as a YouTube or as visible as YouTube, something that can do that. Everybody's talking Rumble. I don't know. I know I reached out to, well, I did. So I'll just say it. I reached out to Dr. Bean and talked to him a little bit to see, some of the issues he was facing, because with the situation that we have that's going on here, you have a medical doctor who literally is a medical doctor who it's the same thing that I did with the Cain Velasquez case. He does with this situation that we have and the data that comes in. And so when you have a situation like this and the data that comes in, he just looks at it from the standpoint of a medical doctor and a researcher, because he is also he's licensed and he practices. He's a researcher, and just highlighting what the pros and the cons are in the research. And one of the things that's come out is that the only type of data they want coming out is data that is accurate and actionable. So if the data comes out and it's accurate, but it might not be actionable, in other words, it doesn't fit the narrative, then they don't want you to cover it. And that's one of those things that I have a huge problem with, is not covering it. So let's see. So be it. All true leaders will stand in the heat. I agree with that. I'm not trying to be a leader, but at the same time, I'm going to stand in the heat. And I understand that at this time that it's not a popular thing to talk about. It's not something that people want to discuss, and it's not something that people. It's almost like this. Well, what are we going to do about it? Attitude. I'm like, well, we're going to do something, right? I say, let's get some plans together, and I'm not saying that we just run in here just willy nilly and we don't do anything. I mean, we're going to figure out what it is we're doing, right? What's the issue? Okay, you figured out what the issue is. Okay, so what can we do? What is the plan of action? How do we go about this plan of action? Does it what are the results that we're looking for? Are those results any good for us as a people? All of those things get to coming in, and it's something that as we're going back and forth that we need to not only consider, but we need to be able to work at. But that's a problem for another day. That is an issue for another day. It's not something I'm going to be dealing with or fighting over or struggling with today. Today, I'm struggling with content on what to give you guys today, which is not a whole lot of anything. There's things I wanted to talk about, things I want to go over. Speak the truth no matter the cost. I agree with that. You can phrase it tactfully and try to make it so that it's more palatable. How's the old adage goes? I'm still going to give you steak, but I'm going to try and make sure I give you that steak on a good dish and not on the trash can lid. Because even if it's the best thing that you want or the best type of meal that you want, if you're vegan or vegetarian or whatever, pescatarian, I want to give and you go, oh, but you served on a trash can lid, most people still wouldn't eat it. That being said, I want to try and make sure that I give it to you in a way that's tactful and palatable. just today is one of those days that I'm like, okay, I say I'm gonna be here at 8 o'clock every day so we can talk, but some days like today, when I start looking at my analytics and I'm looking at all this stuff, I'm like, it's exactly what myself and I spoke to a friend of mine, West Radamas, out there, and we sat there, we were going through this whole process, and I'm looking at it, I'm going, I hate it when I'm right. It's like I know what I can talk about that everybody will go like, oh my goodness, that is a great thing to talk about. And everybody jumps on. And then it's like the things that is like, oh, the real meat and potatoes. Nobody's like, I don't want that. I don't want that at all. Is that sweet? Is that sweet? I don't want it if it ain't sweet. So it's like, are you entertained? Are you not entertained? And I guess today is one of those days that I'm here to entertain you. But I think I kept you guys long enough today. I am not gonna keep you guys if I don't have anybody. Well, let's see. I don't even think Western Domus is coming on today, if I'm not mistaken. So I think what I'm going to do today is I'm going to wrap it early. Actually, wow, that's sad. Early is 30 minutes. I've been talking 30 minutes. It's like, you call that early, huh? Half an hour later? That's early? That's early to you? Yeah, I guess. I apologize for bending your ear that long. But as I'm going through it today, as tomorrow again, have on the inestimable Ling Ling. She'll be on tomorrow. She does microblading. She is a black entrepreneur. She is a black business owner. She's done acting. She's done modeling. But more so and more important than that, especially in the fact that she started her own microblading company. She's a black-owned company here in Houston, and she will be here in studio with us tomorrow. And I would love to see if we can get as much support for her as possible. And that's my goal going forward, is to see if we can just start supporting black people. Because one of the things that's happening, like there was a family member I have, he sent me a link to an event that's going to be going on here in Houston. And I was like, oh my goodness, I got to get out there so I can go support it. And then when I looked at it, I was, you know what? I'm gonna tell you two stories before I tell you this one. So this way you can understand why it is this bothered me and why I'm pissed off about it. So a while back, I don't know if you guys have ever been, but you go up to the Dakotas. There you can go up to Mount Rushmore, right? And you get up there to Mount Rushmore, and you get to go see it. It's nice. It's one of those things. Check it off your bucket list. Keep it moving, right? And I figured that, hey, I just gave the white man my money. Let me go give the natives my money as well. They have one for Crazy Horse. That's a monument that they're doing the exact same way. It's going to be it's in stone. It's going to be him, and he's out there. He's pointing. Anyway, long story short, so me and the family member I'm traveling with, we drive all the way on over there. We get there. So we go from Mount Rushmore. It's about an hour or so away from Mount Rushmore, and the natives there, they have this monument that they're doing towards Crazy Horse, and you drive on up and you pay money to get in, right? So in Mount Rushmore, there's no money. You don't pay any money to get in. You drive on up, and you can get your ticket once you get there, but you can take pictures right there in the parking lot. So anyway, long story short, so you get there and you go up and you take your pictures, and you turn around and you leave or whatever, right? How long are you gonna look at some rocks? That's white man faces in the rocks. How long are you gonna stand there and look at that? What is an appropriate amount of time to sit there and look at that? So it doesn't take that much time in order to soak it all in, as they say. Anyway, so I get over there to the Crazy Horse one, the Crazy Horse monument, that memorial that they're trying to do out there. Not only is it not finished, and they've been working on it for like over 3 times as long as they did for Mount Rushmore. But you pay to get in, as I say, you pay money to park. You pay money to get into the little gift area. And if you want to get all the way over there to where the actual monument is that you can see in the distance, you have to pay money to hop on a bus that'll take you on over there. So essentially you pay, and the only thing that's really there that you can see, I'd say, aside from saying that, but if you want to go in there so you can get a different vantage point, you pay again, you paying to get in there. And it was interesting that you have all these pay points along the way, just so that you can see this monument that's out there that's not finished, that's taken over 3 times as long as Mount Rushmore took. And Mount Rushmore was one where they had this grandiose plan and they cut it short, right? So they got the 4 presidents head that they wanted up there. They were supposed to build. There's a walkway that's supposed to go up there behind it. They had a library that they were going to do inside of the mountain, and there was all this other stuff. And they ran out of money, and they were like, "Nope, sorry, you can't do the rest of this." So these guys over here, and this is even after, and like right now, they're collecting money for everybody that's coming on up there, so they can maintain the place. That being said, I'm looking at the other one, at the Crazy Horse one, and they're just collecting money hand over fist, and they have 3 times as long, not as a just one figure up there that they're doing, and you have to pay money every step of the way. And I'm looking at, I started calculating because it's literally it was 4 to 5 times what it was to get into Mount Rushmore to get over here to this Crazy Horse one. And I did it because I'm like, okay, well, there's a cost of doing business for trying to see if, and I looked at the time frame, I looked at everything, and in my past life, I was a project manager, an IT project manager in oil and gas. And I looked at this, I'm like, this is piss poor planning. This is either piss poor planning or somebody is sitting there. They are really rigging the game here so that so everybody keeps on coming here and dropping money. I don't know how they're dividing this money up, but I know it's definitely not going towards finishing this project in a timely manner, because they had it all blinged out. There's lights that you can do at night, and there's this and there's that. And at no point did it just looked like it was close. It's closer, I guess, but it's 3 times as long. And it's just it was frustrating. What does it have to do with me talking about this event that's happening here in Houston? So I say that to say, so now they're having an event, and someone sent it to me and say, "Hey, did you see this?" And I looked at it and I was like, "Oh my goodness, I got to get out there to go support." It's a spotlight on Black business. Same thing I want to do right now. I want to spotlight Black business, and I'm excited to go out there and go spotlight, go support. I'm going to catch my bus, get on down there, whatever I need to do in order to get down there and go support Black business. And then I see that not only is it Black business that's going to be down there, but there is a charge to get in to go support Black business. And it looks like it's outside. At least the information they gave says it's outside. The area that I live in, there's a farmer's market, and there's a little market that they have that's here for people that they put on for local businesses here. And people get to come up, and you pay, and the vendors pay in order to be there. And then in exchange, they get people to come and to patronize their business out there outside. And instead of these people saying we're going to spotlight Black business and all these businesses that are, because I'm looking at it on Facebook, and they're asking, Black businesses saying, "Hey, if I want to participate, how much does the booth cost?" So they recognize there's a cost to get in there to go do this, for them to have their business patronized. But that's not good enough for the organizers. The organizers need to get the money from the businesses, and they want to get the money from the patrons. And we wonder why there's not more people putting on these type of events aren't happening more frequently. You pay money as a Black business to get in someplace, a booth space, so that you can have people come patronize your business, so you can inform people about your business. And it's not enough that they got money out of you. Now they're going to limit the reach that you have as a business, as a Black business, so that this event is going to limit the number of potential customers or clients you're going to get, because they want to charge a head fee or a per head fee for people to get in. The models are out there on how this system actually works, right? And it's disheartening, because it's like, okay, if we're trying to highlight Black business, if we want people to patronize Black businesses, then what you need to do is make sure that you get the money from the people that are the businesses that are going to be there, which is normal. You don't need to charge everybody to get on in there in order to come patronize Black business. As a matter of fact, what you don't want to do that, because you want to have as much foot traffic coming in there to come see these Black businesses as possible, and not just a limited few people to come in there to come patronize, and only people who are diehards like myself and some others who would want to do it, who would pay that fee to go shop. I got to pay a fee to go shop. Not like a Sam's Club, or not like a Costco's, where you have a fee that you're paying because you're a part of, because you there's a bulk price that you're paying. Tell them why you mad, bro. Tell them why you mad, dog. Yeah, I guess that's where I'm at today because it's like I was leaving it up to you guys. You guys tell me what y'all want to talk about. Nobody coming on up to come talk about anything. So I'm like, all right, cool, bet. I'm just gonna sit up here and just talk for. Actually, I thought I was done. I guess I'm 45 minutes in. I apologize, but I'm sitting here and I'm going, okay. So here's this whole deal where we have this a situation where we're saying we want to patronize, we want to put black business out there, we want to support black business, and you're strangling it. You're literally strangling the life out of the business. That you're saying I'm going to give you a platform, but I'm going to have you pay for this platform that you can't use. I mean, that is going to be very, very, very restricted. Who's going to come in here and come and patronize your business? Who's going to sit there and pay a price to come patronize your business? Diehard people, great. But who else? I mean, it's like I want to make money coming and going. I get that aspect of it because we live in a society that's primarily geared around money. It is the end all be all, but it's like, can you make that money from the black business that are there? We have X amount of booths, and we want the booths and you look at it, you go, hey, I want to put my product out there, and I want people to come in here and patronize my product. Most definitely, people would if you had an open air market like they're talking about, and people could come in there, even especially in this time of All right, so we're back. I apologize for that. I don't know what happened with my internet there, but I'm going to. I guess that was everything telling me that I need to shut this stream down and end this for the night. And I see everybody. Let's see. I froze from Miss Taylor. Yes, I recognize that. I apologize for that. That is not a you issue. That is obviously a me issue, and that this connection froze. I don't know what went on. I had to go reset the router and the modem, and now everything is back up. So there is that. So however, it is what it is. In any event, let me read this last comment before I get on. Did you see the episode of Stray Bullets with Michael Renner, the one he tried to live for 24 hours on only black business? I think I spoke with someone, a family member, about that, a very close family member, someone I love deeply. And we talked about that it was kind of funny in that regard. In any event, I'm going to hop on off here. I'm going to let you guys out. I want to tell you guys, I know I didn't tell you before, that I love you, care for you deeply. And however your day is going, I hope that it's going great. I hope it's going better than mine, and that things aren't freezing and dropping off like mine just did. In any event, have peace in your life always, and may God bless you with it. We're out.